Have you heard of a weapon that can be effective even if it never hits its target? That is Iran's Shahed 136 drone, a so-called Kamikaze drone. If an enemy spends a $4 million interceptor to shoot down a $20,000 drone, that itself is a victory. Normally, when it comes to military technology, it is the United States that introduces new innovations first. Other countries usually follow and replicate those technologies. But in the case of the Shahed drone, the US itself has been accused of copying this technology from Iran. Russia has already acquired this design and is producing its own versions. Several other countries are now trying to build similar drones inspired by the Shahed 136. So naturally, a question arises: what is so special about this drone? The answer has nothing to do with advanced technology. What makes this drone so powerful is something far more unexpected. And it is quietly changing the economics of modern warfare, especially in asymmetric conflicts. And once you understand that, you will see why this simple drone is forcing even the most advanced militaries to rethink their strategy. Welcome to a new video from Science Simplified for All. What you are seeing here is a model of the Shahed 136 drone. This drone is about 8 feet wide and 11 feet long. The interesting part about this 8-foot width is that it can fit inside a standard shipping container. However, because of its 11-foot length, it cannot be placed vertically inside the container. So instead, it is stored in a slightly tilted position. The stand used to hold the drone in this tilted position also includes a rail system for launching. This means the drones can be launched directly from inside the container itself. During launch, the top and side panels of the container can be opened. A hydraulic jack is then used to slightly lift one side of the container, creating the required angle. From there, the drones are launched one by one. A typical container truck can carry around 5 to 6 of these drones. In simple terms, this design allows the drones to be transported anywhere without raising suspicion and launched directly from the same container whenever needed. Because of this, the drones are usually moved far away from their underground storage or production facilities before launch. So even if the launch location is detected, it does not reveal where the drones were actually manufactured or stored. In other words, the launch operation is completely separated from the production infrastructure, making it extremely difficult to identify and eliminate these systems through preemptive strikes. And this is just one part of the story, because the real advantage of this drone lies in how its design achieves performance with such simplicity. Most military drones use wings similar to those found on conventional aircraft. In such designs, a longer wingspan is required to generate sufficient lift, but that also creates a limitation. Drones with long wings are difficult to fit inside a standard container. The Shahed 136 takes a different approach. It uses a triangular wing design known as a delta wing, more specifically, a cropped delta wing. Delta wings are usually associated with supersonic aircraft, but here the purpose is different. The goal is to keep the wings compact while still generating enough lift within that limited span. To keep both weight and cost low, the drone is made mostly from fiberglass reinforced plastic. Only the main structural frame and the engine mounting sections are metallic. Because the body is largely non-metallic, it reflects less radar energy, which helps reduce its radar cross-section. Another interesting design choice is the absence of landing gear. This drone does not have wheels at all. Since it is designed for one-time use, it does not need to land. However, takeoff still requires a minimum forward speed for the wings to generate lift. Normally, that would require wheels. To solve this, the drone is launched using a small rocket booster. The booster accelerates the drone to the required speed. Once that speed is reached, the booster separates and falls away. From that point onward, the drone continues its flight using its own propeller. And this naturally leads to the next question. How does such a simple system achieve such long range? The propeller of this drone is powered by a 2-stroke engine that at first glance looks similar to a small motorcycle or moped engine. Two-stroke engines are known for producing relatively high power for their weight. They also have fewer moving parts, which makes them easier and cheaper to manufacture at scale. Today, most motorcycles use four-stroke engines, but two-stroke engines are still commonly found in smaller machines like chainsaws, lawn equipment, and portable generators. That is why this drone produces a very distinctive sound, similar to those machines. But since there is no significant silencing system, the sound is much louder and harsher. Many people who have witnessed these drones describe the sound as something like a lawnmower, but far more intense. In fact, in some conflict zones, this sound itself has become a source of fear. Now, when it comes to the exact engine used, there is no official information released by Iran. However, based on analysis of recovered drone wreckage, many of these drones appear to use multi-cylinder configurations. In several cases, four-cylinder opposed layouts have been observed. Even so, the underlying design is still based on the same simple two-stroke principle. The estimated power output of this engine is around 50 horsepower, a bit more than a lawnmower, but still much less than an average car. With that, the drone can reach a maximum speed of about 180 kilometers per hour. For a flying system, that is actually quite slow. But that is exactly where its biggest advantage lies. At lower speeds, air resistance is much lower. As speed increases, drag increases rapidly. Since this drone operates at a relatively low speed, it experiences much less air resistance. That is why even a relatively low-power engine is enough to keep it in flight. Lower engine power also means lower fuel consumption, and that is what allows this drone to travel distances of 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers. However, this creates another challenge. At such low speeds, generating enough lift becomes difficult, and that is where the delta wing design we discussed earlier becomes important. Because of its larger effective surface area, it can generate sufficient lift even at lower speeds. So when you look at the full picture, a low-speed design that reduces drag, a low-power engine that consumes less fuel, and a wing structure that can still generate lift efficiently, all of these work together to achieve long range. And that is exactly why the design of the Shahed 136 is considered so simple. But this simplicity does not stop at the airframe. The electronics inside follow the exact same philosophy. The electronic components used in this drone are not specialized, high-end military-grade systems. Instead, it relies mostly on commercially available components. For navigation, it uses standard satellite navigation along with an inertial navigation system. And instead of depending only on the US GPS system, it can also use alternatives like Russia's GLONASS or China's Beidou systems. Because of this, even if GPS signals are disrupted or manipulated during a conflict, the drone's operation may not be significantly affected. In fact, there have been multiple reports of GPS signal interference in conflict regions, where people have noticed unusual errors in their navigation systems. Now, coming to control, the drone uses simple control surfaces, or flaps, located at the rear of its wings. Each wing has two flaps, and by adjusting them, the drone controls its altitude and direction. Once the target location is fed into the system, the navigation unit continuously provides guidance. Based on that, an onboard processor controls the flaps accordingly. So, after launch, the drone does not require any external control. It can navigate to its target completely on its own. This means there is no radio control signal to jam and no operator link to intercept. Once it is airborne, the most common electronic countermeasures simply have no target. When you put everything together, a simple two-stroke engine, a lightweight fiberglass body, and low-cost, commercially available electronics, it becomes clear why this drone can be mass-produced at such a low cost. The estimated production cost is around $10,000 to $20,000, roughly the price of a mid-sized car. For a military system, that is extremely low. Now compare that with a cruise missile designed for a similar role. For example, a Tomahawk cruise missile costs roughly $2 million. It may be faster, more accurate, and capable of carrying a larger payload. But for the cost of a single cruise missile, you could build around 100 of these drones. A single Tomahawk missile can be intercepted, but 100 drones launched simultaneously cannot all be stopped. And that is where the real advantage of low cost becomes clear. But low cost does more than just make these drones affordable. It fundamentally changes what it means for them to succeed. Normally, a weapon is considered effective only if it successfully hits its target. But in the case of the Shahed 136, even launching the drone can be considered a form of success, because a $20,000 drone is often intercepted using Patriot missiles that cost around $4 million each. In some situations, at least 2 interceptor missiles may be used against a single drone. That means even if the drone is destroyed before reaching its target, it can still force the enemy to spend up to $8 million. In other words, these drones are highly effective at exhausting the enemy's interceptor systems. And once those interceptor stocks are depleted, more powerful weapons such as ballistic missiles become much harder to stop. In many recent conflicts in the Middle East, large numbers of these drones have been used for this very purpose. This is one of the key reasons why these drones are considered effective, even when they do not hit their target. In the current scenario, preventing their launch itself is one of the only reliable ways to defend against them. Even before the current tensions in the region, these drones were widely used in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Initially, they were supplied by Iran, but later Russia began producing its own versions based on the same design. The Russian version is known as the Geranium 2. According to various reports, more than 50,000 of these drones, including both Iranian and Russian-made versions, have been used in that conflict. In the ongoing Middle East situation, estimates suggest that over 2,000 Shahed drones have already been used. There are also claims that Iran may still have tens of thousands more in reserve, possibly over 20,000, with some estimates going even higher. However, there is no official confirmation for these numbers. But whether those numbers are exact or not, the larger reality is already clear. A new kind of weapon has entered the battlefield, one that does not need to hit its target to succeed. This is a classic example of asymmetric warfare, where a low-cost system from a less equipped country can impose a much higher cost on a more powerful opponent. Now, there are also some lower-cost methods to intercept Shahed 136 drones. One of the most discussed options is laser-based interception. Instead of using expensive missiles, these systems use a focused beam of high-energy light to destroy incoming drones. Compared to missile interceptors, the operating cost of laser weapons is extremely low. In some estimates, it may cost just $10 to $20 to neutralize a single drone. This is significantly lower when compared to a drone that itself costs around $20,000. I have already done a detailed video explaining how laser weapons work and their practical limitations. The Shahed is actually a suitable target for this type of system. It flies at low speed, at relatively low altitude, and does not perform aggressive maneuvers. Because of this, it fits well within the operating conditions where laser systems are expected to work efficiently. However, in real-world combat, things are not that straightforward. Despite the cost advantage and suitable target profile, there are still no widely confirmed reports of laser weapons being used at scale against these drones. Another approach is the use of automatic anti-aircraft gun systems. These systems detect incoming targets using radar and then fire high-speed bullets to destroy them. Examples include Germany's Gepard, Switzerland's Sky Shield, and the US C-RAM system. Since these systems fire bullets instead of missiles, their operating cost is much lower. However, these systems have a major limitation, which is range. Their effective range is typically only about 2 to 3 kilometers. To cover a large area or an entire border, many such systems need to be deployed at regular intervals, which is not practically possible. Because Ukraine has faced a large number of these drone attacks, it has gained significant practical experience in countering them. As a result, Ukraine has started using low-cost interceptor drones, costing around $2,500, to destroy incoming drones mid-air. These drones are often referred to as Sting interceptor drones. In simple terms, one drone is used to intercept another drone. This is a low-cost response to a low-cost weapon, or in other words, an asymmetric response to an asymmetric weapon. Ukraine has also indicated that it is willing to share this approach with Middle Eastern countries. Today, after understanding the effectiveness of the Shahed 136, many countries are trying to develop similar drones. As mentioned earlier, this is not because the technology is highly advanced, but because it is simple, effective, and affordable. This makes it easier for other countries to develop similar systems. The basic airframe design of the Shahed 136 is not entirely new. Similar concepts existed even decades ago. For example, Germany developed a drone called DAR, or Die-Drone Anti-Radar, in the 1980s. Israel also developed a similar system known as the Harpy, which is a loitering munition. Both of these had a configuration similar to the Shahed 136, so the idea is not new. What is different here is how it is being used. Iran has taken this concept and turned it into a simple, low-cost system that can be mass-produced and used on a large scale as a loitering attack weapon. This shift from a specialized system to something that can be produced in large numbers is what makes the Shahed 136 significant. The United States has already developed a similar drone under the name Lucas. Its estimated cost is around $35,000, which is still significantly lower than conventional cruise missiles. India is also working on a comparable system called Shahed 150, which is designed as a low-cost, long-range attack drone. Although these new drones may look similar to Shahed 136, their functioning is becoming more advanced. Many of them are now being designed to carry out coordinated swarm attacks with the help of artificial intelligence. Instead of a single drone operating independently, multiple drones can work together and overwhelm defenses through numbers and coordination. At the same time, it is important to understand what this means in a broader context. When low-cost systems like these are used on a large scale, they can place significant pressure on even the most advanced defense systems. And when such technologies are used in real conflicts, especially against civilian targets, the impact is severe. These conflicts affect real people, and the consequences extend far beyond the battlefield. It is in everyone's interest that they come to an end as soon as possible. If you found this video useful, do not forget to like it and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. For more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel and enabling the notification bell. Thanks for watching.